California has agreed to a historic $2 billion settlement aimed at addressing the learning loss and emotional toll inflicted by the COVID-19 pandemic to its most vulnerable students. This settlement, emerging from the case of Kayla J v. State of California, marks one of the largest education-related legal agreements in U.S. history, setting a precedent that could transform the educational terrain not just in California, but across the nation. Let's go ahead and dive in. Now, this lawsuit was filed in November of 2020 with 15 unnamed student plaintiffs from Oakland and Los Angeles, with Kayla J being the lead plaintiff, who at that time was an 8-year-old student in 3rd grade. This lawsuit contended that California's approach to education during the COVID-19 pandemic disproportionately harmed minority and low-income students, thus violating the Equal Protection Clause of the California Constitution and the California Education Code. The plaintiffs argued that the state's policies during the pandemic exacerbated existing inequalities, particularly highlighting the digital divide, the gap between students who have access to digital learning tools and those who do not. They also emphasized the need for enhanced mental health and behavioral support for both students and teachers, and called for a comprehensive plan to address the significant learning loss incurred during the pandemic. The lawsuit finally reached a turning point with a settlement in January of 2024, just before the trial set for December. The settlement does not involve a direct payment of $2 billion, but rather a commitment from the state to propose legislation aimed at reallocating existing funds to support the students that are most adversely affected by the pandemic. A key aspect of the settlement is its contingency on the availability of sufficient funding, specifically from the Learning Recovery Emergency Block Grant, to support the targeted schools and district. Now, the agreement allows for the possibility of reopening litigation if the allocated funds fall short of that $2 billion threshold, underscoring the ongoing nature of the commitment to address the educational disparities highlighted by the lawsuits. What are my thoughts? While this may seem like a catchy headline, no one is actually receiving $2 billion. The state has simply agreed to take money from other programs and redirect it to other programs that help students the most under this settlement agreement. What is clear is low-income and minority students were disproportionately harmed during the pandemic. Does this settlement open the door for other states to be sued? Another blunt question to you. Did the state fail its constitutional duty, or was this failure simply always bound to happen?